Welcome to Greg Hansen's Video Notebook, the Friday edition, brought to you by Domino's Pizza. I'm Star Sports Editor Ryan Finley, here with Greg Hansen. Greg, let's talk a little football. This week, the Southeastern Conference announced that it would be playing 8 conference games. In the Pac-12, they still play 9. That led, obviously, to some blowback from Stanford coach David Shaw and others. Think that maybe it's an uneven playing field. Where do you come down on this?
I like the way it used to be when the Pac-10 had a 9-game schedule. You didn't miss anybody. You got to play Oregon every year or had to play Oregon every year. It's never going to be like that again. So I don't like it when you can get out of the way.
And when you look at the way Arizona's fortunes have kind of changed the last couple of years, I think it's no coincidence that they've been skipping Stanford.
Oh, yeah.
And they get to play Cal and Washington State. I mean, it seems like there's going to be a team in the league every year that gets lucky because of the way their schedule lines up.
Yeah, it's the same way in basketball. To me, that was the one big negative of expanding Utah, Colorado. You don't play everybody anymore. And that's being manifest now, as you said, in a luck factor.
Yeah. Greg, if you were in charge of Arizona's football scheduling, how would you sort of set up those 3 games every year?
I wouldn't play as they have since Mike Stoops left, 3 cupcakes. I mean, this year it's the 2 Nevada schools in Texas, San Antonio. Come on, that's not good enough. I know they play BYU and Phoenix in 2 years, but until then it's like Grambling and UTEP, and after that it's like Hawaii. I think Greg Byrne's going to pull the trigger and get them back playing teams like Illinois and Iowa again. But, it hasn't been good, and part of it's been because Arizona has been good enough to tackle, a top 10 team.
Sure. This is Greg Hansen's Video Notebook, brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Greg Hansen here with Ryan Finley. Greg, Jim Livengood, when he was at Arizona, had sort of an easy, medium, hard philosophy to scheduling. You play one team that you should kill, one team that you beat probably 4 times out of 5, then another team where, if you beat them, suddenly your season has launched. What is the value of playing good teams in non-conference play?
The only value is if you beat them. Like the year Arizona beat Iowa when they're, I think, number 9, and Arizona moved up into the top 10, and then squandered it after that. But you can go too far, too, especially if you're a school like Arizona. They were coming off a 12-1 season in 1998, and they opened at Penn State. Are you kidding me? They got killed, and it cost Dick Tomey his job, I think.
Well, you could talk. That set up about 10 straight years of terrible football at Arizona. It was that one loss in 1999. They
did not recover from that. And I think now, even though it's a different administration, they're smart enough not to do that right now. I mean, this year ASU plays Notre Dame at home, but they also get Weber State and New Mexico. So that's manageable, I think, because Notre Dame's reputation is better than its personnel. So I like what ASU is doing this year.
Greg, could you imagine if Arizona ever played Notre Dame at Arizona Stadium? It'd be the biggest home game ever.
They played them here.
Yeah, back in the 80s, right? 1980.
And I went to the game when they played at Notre Dame in 1983 and 82, and Arizona beat them on the last play of the game. And people forgot that right away, it seems like. Of course, Jerry Faust was the coach at Notre Dame, but that was still, you couldn't beat that.
Wasn't that a Zendejas field goal?
It was, right at the buzzer.
Wow. You look, Greg, at the sort of philosophies of scheduling teams. What does BYU bring to the table when they play Arizona? Is it something more than just a natural rival among sort of former WAC cohorts?
They've got a brand, a national brand. That's about it. I think Arizona's better than BYU most years, but BYU gets more national prominence because they're out there playing heavyweights. I mean, look at BYU's schedule. They play 5 or 6 teams you don't want to play, but they have to now because they're not in the conference.
Sure, and you look at maybe the draw in Phoenix. I think if you're going to play in a giant stadium, you need an opponent that's going to put butts in seats. BYU should be able to draw from the Mormon community in Phoenix, and it's drivable for all their fans in Utah.
But it's 2 years away also. I think that crowd will be almost 50-50, maybe 60-40 Arizona.
Wow. That's interesting. Well, it's a great time of year to talk about things like football scheduling. I can't wait. We're, 3 months away from the start of the football season?
I mean, it's going to get hot.
It's going to get hot, and then it's going to cool down, and then we'll play football. How about that?
Yeah.
For Greg Hansen, I'm Ryan Finley. This is Greg Hansen's Video Notebook, brought to you by Domino's Pizza. We'll see you next time.
At Domino's, we're slowing down to make our handmade pan pizza the right way, taking our time to hand press the fresh dough into the pan, adding 2 layers of cheese, and slowing our ovens down to get the crust golden and crispy. So try a Domino's handmade pan pizza with 2 toppings for just $7.99.